Good morning. This is the time and place for the planning hearing officer for the date of November 1st, 2023. My name is Dennis Joe, and I will be conducting the hearing as hearing officer. The planning hearing officer meeting is being broadcast live on Glendale TV, viewable on Spectrum Cable, Channel 6, AT&T Uverse, and Channel 99. Meetings are also streamed live in high definition on the city's webpage, glendaleca.gov/live, on youtube.com/myglendale, and Apple TV, Roku, and Amazon Fire devices using a free app called ScreenWeave and choosing Glendale TV from the menu. Meetings are also archived on the city's website for viewing anytime at glendaleca.gov/agendas. For public comments and questions during the meeting, please call 818-937-8100. City staff will be submitting questions and comments in real time to the appropriate person. And I see that we have two cases involving discretionary permit applications. The first one being 1164 Glendale Galleria for variance case number PVAR 002314-2023, and the second item being 1215 East Colorado Street, Unit 101, regarding a conditional use permit, case number PCUP 001515, 2023. The hearing will proceed as follows. I will read the description of the applicant's request. I will read the reports received from other city departments and other letters or communications from interested parties. The case planner will make a brief overview of the case and give an analysis to make a recommendation. The applicant will then be connected by telephone or in person, stating both name and address, and will be asked to present a case within 15-minute time limit. Others in support or in opposition to the application and interested parties will be connected by telephone to give comments or in person, and clearly stating both their name and address within a 3-minute time limit. Lastly, the applicant will be given an opportunity to make closing statement if desired in response to testimonies given by preceding speakers within a 5-minute time limit. The hearing will be closed and then taken under submission. Findings. If the evidence presented in the application at the hearing meets the required findings set forth in the Glendale Municipal Code, then the project can either be approved or approved with conditions. If the findings, in fact, are not evident, then the request will be denied. Decision. After the hearing, the decision will be prepared in writing and will be in the form of a letter sent to the applicant and to all persons who responded to the public notice either by speaking at the hearing or submitting written responses and have provided their name and mailing address. The date of the decision will be the date appearing on the letter. Record of decision for all projects will be posted online on the Planning Division's website. Appeals. Under the appeal provisions of Title 30, Chapter 30.62 of the Glendale Municipal Code, the decision will be appealed to the Planning Commission within 15 days of date of the decision. Anyone wishing to appeal the first file must use the city's online permit portal. For any additional information regarding the appeal process or submittal, please contact the case planner. Public notice. Notifications of this hearing was accomplished by the use of public notices which were mailed to the property owners and occupants within 500 feet of the subject property. The site was physically posted, and the posting was, or the notice was placed in the local newspaper. I would like to inform everyone that the official proceedings of the planning hearing officer's hearing will be televised live and may be viewed online on the city's website. On to today's case hearings. The first one being PVAR 002314-2023. The applicant is Andrew Rivas for the property located at 1164 Glendale Galleria. And in regards to a standards variance for 2 signs for a new restaurant, Din Tai Fung, located at the Glendale Galleria. I'd like to ask the case planner, seeing that I don't have any letters or comments or testimonies in front of me, did we have any that were received?
No.
Okay.
Hearing Officer Joe, we have not received any letters or correspondence.
Okay, seeing that there's no comments to take in consideration, I'd like to call on the case planner, Milka Toledo, to do a brief presentation.
Yes, thank you. This is a collaborative effort between 2 case planners, myself and Alan Castillo from our Economic Development Division, Concierge Services. The project is located at 1164 Glendale Galleria, Din Tai Fung. They are proposing a variance to install new signs for their new restaurant. The installation of a wall sign over the 2nd level of the Glendale Galleria, adjacent to but not directly above the tenant space. And the code allows, in this case, only one accessory wall sign for the ground floor occupancy of a building directly above the subject tenant space. The second variance is to install a second accessory ground sign along the pergola, of the outdoor dining area along Central Avenue, where only one accessory ground sign shall be permitted for each street in this case. The pergola has not been installed yet. That is in the plan check process, near completion, I believe. The location is in the DSP GAL Downtown Specific Plan Galleria District. This is a view of the existing facade along the east side, facing Central Avenue. As you can see, there is already a ground sign there currently there now, and the sign for that one will remain. That's for the Galleria as a whole. The location of the new ground sign I'll get to in a minute will be located on or about the location where there's a little tent right there. So behind that area is where the new pergola will be situated, and that's more or less the area of where the new sign for the ground sign will be located. And I'll get to let me go to the next slide so you can get a better view of the proposed signs. One, again, along the Central Avenue facade on the ground sign, which is identified on the plan as sign C, and a wall sign located, again, on the second floor of the mall, not directly above the subject tenant space, but very close. And here's another view of the signs as it relates to the site plan. Again, variance for the signs B and C only. Sign A is the interior of the mall. That does not require a variance, but again, it's just noted here for reference only. So again, variance requests are for signs B and C only, not A. And here's another view of the wall sign proposed adjacent to that wall sign that's there now, identifying the G for the Glendale Galleria, their signature sign, and then Din Tai Fung's wall sign proposed slightly adjacent to it on the second level. And the approximate area of sign B, in this case for the wall signs, approximately 65.5 square feet total sign area, considering that this is a large facade, and Din Tai Fung will occupy a portion, obviously, of that area. So proportional with their tenant space. And the next sign, sign C, accessory ground sign, will be approximately 4 feet high, excuse me, by 2 feet wide. So approximately 8 square feet total. And the plans represent the location of the ground sign as it relates to once the pergola is installed. So let's kind of go briefly over the variance findings. In terms of the first one, the draft findings are also included in the report. How will the strict application of the provisions of such ordinance would result in practical difficulties or unnecessary hardship inconsistent with the general purposes and intent of the ordinance? So to comply with code, the location of the wall sign, let me go back to the site plan. The location of the wall sign would need to be located directly above the ancillary entrance or exit of the tenant space. However, placing the sign directly above the tenant space would not achieve the necessary visibility along Central Avenue, because there will be an outdoor dining area with that pergola, which would therefore limit the sign's visibility. So therefore, the strict application of the sign regulations would result in these practical difficulties because it would, again, lack that necessary or adequate visibility for the new restaurant. As proposed, the placement of the new sign will provide, again, better visibility for visitors and patrons. For those who wish to visit the restaurant off of Central Avenue and would still, again, meet the intent of the sign by being adjacent to that tenant space, but again, not directly above it. In terms of placing or having the sign C, placement of the signs of the restaurant's accessory ground sign along the pergola of the outdoor dining area for the ground sign will provide the appropriate visibility for patrons driving on Central Avenue. The proposed accessory ground sign will provide a visual cue that the outdoor dining area is associated with the subject restaurant. The exceptional circumstances associated with the project, well, in this case, the Glendale Galleria is one of two malls located in the downtown Glendale area and is primarily larger in comparison to other buildings outside of the Glendale Galleria's footprint. Also, in addition to being a large site, there are multiple tenants or retail, service, and restaurant businesses located within the Glendale Galleria, and there are also the mall has several entrances. The restaurant is located on the ground floor of the Glendale Galleria, and its primary entrance is located inside the mall. Due to the site's overall size and the multiple points of access, large parking areas, and the location of the tenant space, it lacks adequate visibility, especially for those, again, driving or those patrons that are walking on foot. So having the locations as proposed for both the wall sign and for the ground side will achieve the necessary or adequate visibility while still not being an issue for the neighborhood or the other tenants. However, the first wall sign, or in this case, the wall sign adjacent to the tenant space, will not be directly above the tenant space, but will provide that adequate visibility for those patrons entering directly from Central Avenue. And given that there's no direct vehicular access to the proposed restaurant, and there are multiple parking garages for Glendale Galleria and also for the Americana across the street on the east side, the proposed signs will provide that adequate visibility and clearly identify the restaurant from the northbound and southbound traffic, and it, again, will help passerby identify the restaurant. In terms, again, not being materially detrimental to the public welfare, I touched a little bit on that in the previous finding, but again, there are no, granting the variance requests of these two signs won't be materially detrimental to the public or injurious to the property or improvements in this neighborhood. The city's traffic engineering section did not cite any safety hazards related to the signs, and none are anticipated. So obtaining a sign permit also and the subsequent inspections that will be required for the new signs will ensure that proper installation of the proposed signs will be done, as well as that the signs having those appropriate inspections will also eliminate potential safety issues. Rather than be detrimental to the public welfare, the additional signage will provide the tenant adequate visibility within that large shopping center, and then overall, the applicant's variance requests are based on their operational needs and exceptional circumstances and are inconsequential deviations from their relative zoning code requirements for signage, which will not have a negative impact to the surrounding area. And lastly, the granting of the variance will not be contrary to the objectives of the ordinance, as we discussed earlier. It will be in keeping with the operational needs of the proposed restaurant. It will not be contrary to the objectives of the sign regulations to create a more attractive business climate, protect and enhance the appearance of the community, and reduce obstructions that may lead to safety hazards. The proposed signage will provide the business, again, the adequate visibility it needs, and it will also help foster a more attractive business climate and will provide patrons the visual cues regarding the restaurant's location and entrance. So the proposed signage will be integrated into the overall building design and will be required to obtain the necessary building permit approval for installations. We do have some in the suggested draft conditions for your consideration. One of them I'd like to highlight is that the Glendale Galleria will be required to submit a design review application for a modification to the existing sign program to be approved by the Director of Community Development. And with that, I will conclude my remarks. If you have any questions, I am available, or myself or Alan.
Thank you, Ms. Toledo. I went to the site this morning, just kind of going around, and then I'm just kind of observing the area, and I think there's only very few restaurants with exterior access, and this tenant space being one of them. And I think the only other one was McDonald's. Yeah, I mean, it may have like an outdoor, so I can see this being a very large site. The Galleria is really large, and only maybe the anchor tenants have signs,
Correct.
but only very few. So with exterior access being, especially with eating establishments being restaurants, I can see this site being one of them, and then McDonald's, and I can see that this is not a normal condition on such a large site, because most of the signs are from the interior. And I noticed that on the plans, there's like a door leading to the outside, obviously for the outdoor area, and that provides an outdoor entrance for the public as well to identify what the restaurant it is.
Correct.
Okay.
And this is just one of, probably the only one along that east facade
Correct.
that has a restaurant with direct access to a restaurant, like you pointed out. Other than that, it would be on the west side where you would access the McDonald's or the food court. But this is probably the only one along on the Central Avenue facade.
Yeah, okay, correct. I just wanted to, because when I briefly just kind of went around the site, drove around just to make sure I understood the conditions of the site, and this being one of the very few eating establishments with outdoor dining,
Right.
and it has actually a door to the exterior. Okay, I just want to get a better idea of the conditions of the site and how this maybe differ. Thank you for clarifying. Next, I'd like to call up the applicant cards. I can begin with, seeing that I have two. I do have one from Andrew Rivas, who's the sign contractor, and I do believe we have Thomas Chu. Do you have a preference of who would like to speak first?
I'm on second case.
Oh, the second case. Okay, I'm sorry, Thomas. I did not read that correct. I apologize. Okay, Andrew, thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you.
Go ahead and please speak your name.
Yeah,
And then
Andrew.
your address.
Andrew Rivas with TDI Signs, and we're located on 13158 Arctic Circle in Santa Fe Springs, California. We're the applicant, manufacturer, and installer on this project. And so I'm here really just to answer any questions. It was a great presentation, and it really illustrates kind of the hardships that we're going to have here at this restaurant. Really, with the pergola blocking a lot of the access for the wall signage is really important for us to be off, not on center on the suite, so that way we can get that visibility. And then also having the sign closer to the edge of the pergola. That way we can have pedestrian traffic being very aware of what that outdoor eating area is for.
Correct. Thank you. You know what? As Ms. Toledo was doing her presentation, I remember reading that in a report, and I was going to ask about how the pergola and it does obscure to it. But thank you for bringing that up. That's a really good point. I think I needed to, or I wanted to, just kind of point out that one of the exceptional circumstances of the visibility of the traffic in this restaurant having outdoor access, which is a condition. It's not normal within the Galleria. I do not have any questions at the moment.
Okay.
If I do have any, I'll definitely call you up.
Okay.
But I don't see any at the time being.
Sounds great.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Seeing that we do not have anybody else from the audience to speak on this, I think the only other party here is for the second item. Ms. Toledo, do we have any phone calls or anyone from the general public that would like to speak on this item?
I don't see anything. Nope.
Okay, seeing that we have no callers, no one in the audience, I think I have enough information as far as for me to take this into submission. I'm going to say that this hearing is closed. I would like to appreciate everybody for their participation. And we will be taking a brief 5-minute recess. We will be changing hearing officers for the second item, so I will be closing and officially closing the item at this moment right now. Thank you.
Okay, and we're back. It's about 10 a.m. on November 1st. And the next item that we will hear this morning, and the last one, is located at 1215 East Colorado Street, Unit 101. The request is for a conditional use permit, case number PCUP 001515-2023. The applicant is requesting approval of a conditional use permit, the continued operation of a massage establishment in the C3 commercial service zone, subject to the standards listed in GMC 5.64. And I, Milka Toledo, am the hearing officer for this next case. The case planner is Columba Diaz. And Columba, please, I will turn it over to you for a summary of your report, draft findings and conditions, and any comments received from other departments.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Toledo. Good morning. My name is Columba Diaz. I am the case planner for the project. The application under consideration is a conditional use permit renewal to allow the continued operation of AA Spa, which is a massage establishment located on 1215 East Colorado Street, Unit 101, case number PCUP-001515-2023. The applicant proposes to renew their conditional use permit to continue the use of an existing massage establishment with no changes to the building or current operations. On July 13, 2017, a conditional use permit, case number 1705-644, was approved to allow the massage establishment at the subject address. The CUP has since expired as of July 13, 2022. The CUP renewal qualifies as a Class 1 existing facilities category exemption, as there is no physical expansion of the building or intensification of an existing use. The subject project is located on the north side of East Colorado Boulevard, just east of Chevy Chase Drive, in the C3 Commercial Services Zone. The massage establishment is on the ground level of a 2-story multi-tenant commercial building and has operated at this location since 2012. There are a total of 20 parking spaces provided at the front and rear of the building. Here we see the existing conditions in the site plan, floor plan, and elevation. The massage establishment will remain at its current location on the west side of the building's ground level, with an east-facing single entry from the front parking lot to the main hall, lounge room, and massage rooms. The massage establishment is not proposing any changes to the exterior and will remain at its existing 800 square feet with no added floor area. In the report, staff report demonstrates that 4 required findings of fact for a conditional use permit have been made for the project. First, the land use element of the Glendale General Plan designates the subject site as community services, an area suitable for this type of use. The subject site is located on the north side of East Colorado Street, where its immediate vicinity is developed with various commercial uses that include retail, office, personal service, and restaurant uses. The project is consistent with the land use element of the Glendale Plan and with the recommended conditions of approval pertaining to noise and safety. The project also complies with all other elements of the general plan. The massage establishment has been operating at the subject site for 11 years without adversely impacting surrounding uses. Neither Glendale Police Department nor the Neighborhood Services Division cited significant concerns related to the proposed conditional use permit. The conditions will ensure that the massage establishment will continue to operate responsibly. In continuation, the approval of the CUP will not adversely impact nearby uses on this commercial street nor impede the development of the surrounding properties, as these properties are already developed and no changes are proposed to the existing tenant space and building on site. The massage establishment has been in operation at its current location since 2012. There are 5 parking spaces at the front and 15 at the rear for a total of 20 parking spaces, which have adequately accommodated patrons of the subject site and the commercial building. The application does not include any changes or added floor area to the existing building or subject tenant space, so no increase in parking demand will be created. The existing public and private facilities, such as utilities, landscaping, parking, and traffic circulation measures, are adequate as they are already in place. No public comments were received regarding this case, and other city department comments have been included, recommendations of standard conditions of approval, which are imposed on similar projects. Given all the information presented here in the staff report, with the recommended conditions of approval, staff recommends that the conditional use permit be approved. This concludes my presentation, and I'm available for questions. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much. Ms. Diaz. Before I open the public portion of the hearing, I wanted to just briefly highlight, we did not, again, in like the case plan already did, we did not have any specific comments or conditions from other departments. General comments were received from the police department, and they did highlight that within their last calendar year, there were no calls for police service at this location. And general comments from GWP, Glendale Water and Power.
Yes, that's correct.
Perfect. So I'd like to now open the public portion of the hearing, and I would like to have the applicant come forward, Thomas Chu. Thomas, please state your name and address for the record.
My name is Thomas Chu. My address is 1707 Coachman Drive in Camarillo, California, 93012.
Thank you. Mr. Chu, did you want to go over a little bit of a brief summary of your business, how it operates? We heard some of the suggested draft findings. Would you like to add on to those findings in your own words?
Not really. This business has been conducted for over 10 or 11 years. We've been in the same location, serving the people around that area. So we have no issues with any government agencies.
So not detrimental to the public
Right.
welfare or anything, or
Correct.
injurious to adjacent
So we
properties?
just want to continue operating the business as it is.
Okay. So again, you're proposed to continue the operation of that existing massage establishment that's currently there now. Any operational changes compared to the last conditional use permit approval?
No changes. Ours is the same. Everything's the same. No
Okay, well, I'm
changes.
going to get to that question in a minute. How many employees are working there with you?
Right now, just one.
Just one employee?
Yeah.
Okay, and then they
We
handle
comes
both?
and goes in.
Okay.
You know,
At the front desk, they man the front desk as
Yeah,
well
that's
as,
everything because it's a small location, so
Got it.
one person should be able to handle it.
perfect. And how long is a typical appointment, you would say?
Probably about half an hour to 1 hour, usually.
And what are the hours of operation?
I think it's 10 a.m. to 10 p.m.
Okay. In terms of the clients, are they walk-in or are they referrals or appointment only?
Some walk-in, some appointments.
So you do a take walk-in?
Correct.
Have you had a chance to review the conditions or draft conditions of approval included in the staff report that were prepared by the case planner?
Yes, we have.
You have, and do you agree with them?
Yes.
Okay. Good. Did you want to add anything else?
No, I'm good.
You're good. Okay. Well, I don't have any additional questions at this time.
Thank
you.
Okay.
Does anyone here in the audience wish to speak on this project? No? Okay. I would assume you have no closing comments, no one spoke, and do we have any callers?
No, we don't have any callers.
We don't have any callers. And I'm assuming you as the applicant, Mr. Chu, are in favor? Right. Okay, I'll mark that down for you. Well, good. Seeing that we don't have anyone else in the audience present or wishing to speak, and no additional comments that Mr. Chu would like to add at this time, what I'll do is I'm going to close the public portion of this hearing. I will take the case under submission and I will render a decision in writing. So I will now close the planning hearing officer hearing at 10:10 in the morning. Thank you all for coming.